to Dojo Live. Today is Tuesday, June 23rd, 2020. I'm Tulio Sergusa, broadcasting from Los Angeles, and I'm joined by my co-hosts, Carlos Ponce, just outside of Mexico City. Luckily, Carlos wasn't impacted by a pretty big earthquake that just happened in Mexico City this morning. Welcome. Glad to see you're safe. And we also have Laura Fimbres, who is in Hermosillo, Mexico. Hi, Laura. Welcome back. We haven't seen you in a little while. It's good to have you back. And our guest today is Soumajit Bhowmik with Styched. Soumajit is the CEO of Styched, and we're going to talk to him today and learn everything about him and his company and how they're disrupting the fashion industry. So, Soumajit, please introduce yourself to the audience. Let us know who you are a little bit.
Right. Thank you so much for the kind introduction, and thanks for having me on the show. So my name is Soumajit. I am the CEO of Styched. I have been with Styched for the last year and a half. An entrepreneur for most of my career. I was with Capillary Technologies for almost 3 years. Capillary is into more of e-commerce, omnichannel, CRM. Before that, I was with Jabong. Jabong was a rocket internet company. Sadly, had to shut down a few months back. Again, a fashion marketplace. Before that, I had a string of my own venture, the long-lasting one being Advice, which was into branding and digital marketing. I'm married, have a daughter, 6 years old. I love painting. I love fine arts. I am a senior diploma holder in fine arts. Engineer by education, did my engineering from Indian Institute of Technology. Yeah, that's about it.
Great. Well, thanks for the introduction. Appreciate it. Let's talk about Styched. Tell us a little bit about the company. What gave birth to this idea? What do you guys do? I'm not sure if you.
I think.
Did I break? I might have broken through. I was asking. Please tell us about Styched. Tell us about your company, Styched. I'm not. Maybe he's not hearing me.
Yeah.
Carlos, just ask the question. Maybe he's not. Maybe I'm not coming through.
Yeah. Soumajit, can you hear me? Can you confirm that you can hear me? Hello?
His headset's no good.
Yeah, am I audible?
Yeah, it's probably the headset, right? Can you hear us? I think we might be experiencing some technical difficulties, just like in television when something compromising is being aired, right?
So Soumajit, can you hear us or no?
Soumajit, can you hear us?
I don't think he can hear us.
Can you hear us?
He can't.
Oh, we lost our guest. There's our first for everything. Remember that time we were interviewing someone? We were in the car, and I kept thinking to myself, we're going to lose the signal any second. And luckily, it didn't happen. He was in a car, in a moving vehicle, and was able to do a whole interview in a moving vehicle. Hey, can you hear us now?
Yes, I can hear you now. Sorry,
all right, fantastic. Welcome back. We were trying to scramble to come up with some jokes. But anyway, tell us a little about Styched. Please introduce the company. What do you guys do?
Yeah, so sorry if the line is too long. You know, as a founder, there are too many things that goes on in the head. So that's the logo that you can see. We are also following a social distancing for the logo because of the current situation. But Styched is a fast fashion brand. It's an e-commerce fast fashion brand. Targeting the youth, targeting people from the age group of 18 to 30. We are in the affordable segment, and within Styched, we have multiple verticals catering to different needs. But primarily, we are trying to be a fast fashion, affordable brand, trying to go global as well. We are in India for now. We are expanding in India, but we want to go to the UAE, to the Europe, and we want to expand globally. So that's what Styched is. The primary agenda for starting Styched was to solve two problems. Problem number one from the customer side, problem number two from the business side. So as a customer, what you look for are choices, more number of choices as compared to a marketplace. Why should somebody come to a brand e-commerce store and not to a marketplace like an Amazon or Flipkart? The second part of it is obviously the price point. From a business side of it, I think the problem that needs to be solved is the sustainability on which we are going to talk today as well, the profitability, and to reduce losses because of warehousing and unsold inventory. So we solved these problems, and that's how Styched was started using technology in the backend.
Great. Well, thanks for the introduction. Today we're talking about sustainability in fashion. And I think the topic that we want to answer is, can technology and AI solve problems related to inventory management, liquidation of unsold inventory, and warehousing? So how is this related to what you guys are doing? Is this a major problem in the fashion industry in terms of inventory management, liquidation of unsold inventory, and how does this tie into sustainability? Please elaborate.
See, one of the major problems that we all felt, all the co-founders we felt, is that a brand, a fashion brand, as compared to a marketplace, finds it difficult to maintain their own store, maintain their direct-to-customer kind of an approach, because of the lack of number of SKUs or number of products, right? So if you go to a marketplace, you can see probably 200,000 different designs or apparel. But if you come to a brand, the number of designs would be less, because that's how brands operate. They would work on a certain number of patterns or designs. So how do we then scale the number of designs to, if not be equal to a marketplace, but at least come close to a marketplace, like an Amazon, right? Brands will face a problem, because if they have to manufacture that huge number of designs in all the sizes, store them in a warehouse, they're not even sure whether those are going to get sold or not. They might be in the warehouse, there might be damages, there might be unsold inventory which does not sell at the end of the season. They have to sell them at a discounted price, or they just have to sell it on the black markets. Overall, there's a huge amount of loss that brands face, right? That's where we started off. We started thinking that, can we create a model which is completely production on demand, not just for t-shirts, but for any kind of apparel. So top wear, bottom wear, shoes, hats, accessories, whatever you think of. Can we have something which is extremely production on demand, which makes sure that your back-end inventory is zero, no warehousing cost, no damages, no pilferage, nothing of that sort, and still be profitable? And you have to be profitable, right? Because you're not incurring any losses. The only problem that we have to solve is, how do we reduce the returns which can come from customers from multiple points, which we'll discuss later. So we use technology to solve that. We kind of created a model. It's actually a very simple model if you try to understand the basics of it. And we drew the conclusion from a simple maths problem, right? So you have HCF. You use the long division method. You have multiple numbers. You want to find the HCF of that number. That's what we do. So for example, this t-shirt that I'm wearing, right? There's one pattern, which is this one. There's one pattern, which is the sleeve, and the same pattern gets repeated on the back, and the sleeve pattern gets repeated on the other side. So essentially, there are two patterns that create this t-shirt, right? So now, can we break down different kind of apparel to patterns, and then we find the unique patterns in all of these? So that's what the problem statement was. That's what we tried to solve to start off with. It was not technology; it was just pen and paper work. But we took 600 different designs from different websites. We hired a few designers from colleges, and we asked them to break down each of the designs to patterns, to individual patterns, base patterns. And we realized that from 600 designs, the number of unique patterns that came out were just 32. And that's where we started the technology part of it. We said that this is a problem that can be solved through technology. We can actually break down every design, every apparel to smaller patterns, find out the unique patterns, and for example, what you are wearing might be pattern 1 plus pattern 2 plus pattern 3. What the second person is wearing is pattern 4 plus pattern 6 plus pattern 20. So now suppose you have 100 orders. And 100 order can be equivalent to a certain number of pattern 1 plus a certain number of pattern 2 plus a certain number of pattern 4, so on and so forth. So that's what we do. We just break down it into smaller jobs, look at the overall number of orders that we receive every day, not look at the final output, but look at the patterns, and then we go on to production.
Okay, so how is that different the way fashion houses do it today? Do they not have the manufacturing in-house the same way, where they have patterns tied? How is it different? What's different about what you guys are doing?
So the only thing that's different is, and most of the fashion players are doing that, for every season, for every new stock that they come up with, every new design that they come up with. So there's autumn collection, there's winter collection, there's summer, spring, there's fall collections. For every collection, they would have to manufacture a certain number of units in the back end, which is why when you go to a store, you might see that those banners, like this is the last 5 pieces left, or this is out of stock, those comes in because you have already manufactured a certain number of units, and you're keeping them, preempting that will get sold. that gives rise to unsold inventory as well. In our case, we will never be out of stock because we do not manufacture and keep anything ready. Once we receive an order, so for example, today we receive 500 orders. 500 orders is equivalent to say 750 apparel, almost 1.5 items per order. So tomorrow, those 750 orders will be manufactured in our office, and they will be dispatched through our different delivery partners. We never need to bring any of the styles out of fashion because anybody can order anything at any point of time. We don't have any inventory. The way we work differently from any other fashion brand is we are just in time for every kind of fashion apparel, not just for t-shirt, not just for print work, for everything. Start from scratch. So the way we operate is because of the backend. The backend kind of preempts. So we have data, we have machine learning. It preempts that, okay, in the next 5 days, these are the number of orders that you're going to get for this. And there's a 20% markup to that. So for example, apparel number 1, we get 20 orders per day. Next 5 days, we should be getting 100 orders. The backend will preempt that, okay, at least have 80 orders ready. So what we are going to do is we are going to work on very small liquidation processes. We are not going to keep any inventory. So till date, we have shipped more than 1.5 lakh apparels. If you come to our office, you will see some 40, 50 apparel lying around. That's the amount which has come back because of various issues. Maybe it was an RTO because the person did not receive the package, or there was a size issue or some other issue that has come back. Now, whatever comes back is again accumulation of patterns so that they can be reused, right? Because they came from a certain pattern, portfolio, so they can be reused as well. And end of the day, we are left with nothing. We are left with no stock. So we don't have to worry about if there's a problem or if an order does not come, or for example, the current situation that's going on, the COVID, there's a delivery disruption, there's order disruption. It doesn't affect us because we don't have a warehouse. We don't have any backline inventory. We don't have a problem with damaged products.
So Soumajit, I'm sorry, just a quick, sorry for the interruption. Just want to make sure we keep the conversation flowing. We've gotten a request from some viewers to please slow. You're sharing some amazing information. We've gotten a request from the viewers to slow down a little bit so that we don't miss any of that. So please, if you don't mind, that would be fantastic. So just so I understand, you have just-in-time production, basically. It's not, which is also just-in-time inventory. So you don't have to have warehouses. You can print out, for lack of better, basically manufacture, at scale. And how does that have any implications on distribution? How does that come into play? Did the software also that you've invested in and built help handle distribution? Because I'm assuming you manufacture, then you got to ship it out to people, right? So does it change the way it traditionally is done, where the manufacturer also has the shipping facilities and they have ability to plan for things based on the inventory? How does that change the way that's handled? Can you shed some light on that?
Absolutely, and I think that's a very important question because that's the second part of the sustainability discussion that we are going to have. So just a prelude to our delivery process, we have tie up with almost 8 different partners and 2 aggregators who deliver to almost pan-India, almost 24,500 odd pin codes, right? Uniques would be around 22,000 pin codes across the country. What the backend does is, and this is the second part of it, wherein the backend also manages the return rate. There are multiple ways in which returns happen when we ship out a product. We typically ship out a product within 24 hours to 48 hours max, depending on the volume of the order. So if you order one certain apparel, it probably would be shipped out within 24 hours. If you order 10 apparels in the same order, it might take a little longer, so it might be shipped out in 48 hours. But situations are a little different now because of the current situation, because of the lockdown, because of the slowdown of the process. There's some delivery issues which are happening, but this is a temporary glitch. Once an order is placed, the backend actually splits the work to multiple smaller jobs, which gets assigned to multiple people. And they said, okay, order number 1 needs work 1 plus work 2 plus work 3. These 3 people have to complete their job to finish the order. And all the orders are treated in a FIFO manner, first in, first out. So whichever order comes in first will get catered to first. Once the shipment has been shipped from our office, and the shipping label, or AWB numbers that we call them, are generated based on multiple things. The backend analyzes the pin code and sees which delivery partner has delivered most efficiently for that pin code in the last 6 months. So we have 8 partners. It says that, okay, partner number 1 seems to be the most reliable guy for this pin code. They have always delivered 100% delivery rate. Please use partner number 1. It generates the level for that partner and it sticks on the package. It goes out that same day. In case a pin code has all the partners delivering 100%, it says that, okay, all the partners are doing the same job. So let me go for the cheapest one. This partner seems to be delivering at a lower price compared to the other one. So it generates the AWB for that partner. So this is how it splits all the orders into delivery partners, and then it goes out. Once it goes out, it does an automated, kind of an API call with the delivery partner's backend, and it monitors the package real time, and it sees that whether a package is getting delivered or not. In case it does not get delivered on the first attempt, we get an alarm that this package was not delivered because of so and so reason. So we call up the customer, we call up the delivery guy, we patch them in and say that please get it delivered today. Delivery happens, less than 2% return rate because of that, extremely profitable. So the backend actually plays a role starting from the production till the point of delivery.
Wow, that's a pretty so why build this in-house? Aren't there solutions out there that you can license that offer similar outcomes? What was the competitive advantage that you were looking for? Was it purely focused on sustainability, or is there some cost benefit to doing it this way as well? Help us understand the investment value, the return on that investment that you've received so far.
Yeah, I think half of the answers you have given. One is obviously the cost benefit. So there's no direct software which manages everything, starting from getting your order to production split, to packaging, to delivery, return management. That is also one more thing that it does. So when it knows that a package has been returned, it preemptively tells that, okay, this next order which has come in can be reused. So this existing package which has just come back to our warehouse can be reused by one of the existing orders. So first and foremost, there were no software which manages end-to-end of it. So we had to build some part of it, right? The second thing is all the efficiencies which we are adding. For example, like I told you, there are some customers who do not receive package, who will order a cash on delivery. In India, cash on delivery is a very premium, or rather a large segment of orders. Almost 70 to 80% of the orders will be cash on delivery. They will place the order, you have to deliver it to them, and then they'll pay cash, right? Prepaid orders are a little less, which means that a lot of these orders also keep coming back because the customer was not available, he has changed his mind, or there's a history of that customer not accepting packages. Our backend kind of looks into that, uses AI to forecast certain orders. So it tells that, okay, this pin code has a history of 100% return. Let's not go with this pin code. Let's ask the customer, or let's ask customers to prepay only. Because it's no use, it's just going and coming back. 100% of the orders are coming back. Or certain what we call as karma points. So if a user has ordered say twice or thrice from our website, we ship the order, it did not get delivered, the customer sends it back saying that I'm not interested anymore. Next time the customer comes to our website, he has to prepay the order, the next order. So these are the kind of interjections which we cannot use a third-party software for. We have to do a lot of data sharing, which is not feasible, which is not right as well. And we thought that if we are going to build 40 to 50% of the platform in-house and then use 5 or 6 different platforms to plug and play, does not make sense because of the cost, because of the way each of these plugins would talk to each other. Rather have the whole thing in-house, have the whole efficiency bundle in-house, and then use this same bundle for multiple brands. So for example, we have one brand called Styched, one brand called Styched.live, which is the merchandising brand, which probably in the next quarter would become India's largest fashion merchandising brand, containing Indian celebrities and brands only. Then we have a semi-premium brand, which we're going to launch very soon. So all of these are going to use the same backend, drive the same amount of efficiency and profitability from the backend. So I think that's why we thought that we'll create the backend. We'll create it based on our own logic and requirement, and not rely on a third party tool.
Yeah. Okay, so I have a question.
Impressive.
I have a question. So it's a non-technical related question, but I was going through your website, and I saw that you have a safe government schools contribute now by buying a tea. How does that work? I mean, if I buy a tea, you're gonna donate some of the money. It's gonna be
right.
designated to government schools, or
Yeah,
How does that work?
first of all, I want to thank you for asking that question, because that brings us to the second half of what we are doing. So Stitch.in, the website that you're seeing, is a fashion website, right? It has all kinds of fashion apparel, but end of the day, we are a startup brand. A year and a half back, we started. We wanted people to trust us, to know that we are here for the long run. We are going to give them the best of quality, but we are also saving on a lot of cost because of not having an inventory, not having a warehouse, reducing the returns, and we are passing on this cost benefit to the customer. So easiest way of creating a brand recognition is through association with different brands, where different people say that, okay, this is a trustable brand. So we wanted to create a merchandise store. In India, you find a number of brands who have started with, say, DC Comics or Marvel Comics merchandise or Cartoon Network merchandise. We had to do something different. So we thought, okay, let us try to become India's largest merchandise store, focusing only on Indian brands. And we did not want to have that under the Stitch.in banner. We created a separate website called Styched.live, wherein we started tying up with Indian celebrities, Indian movie stars, Indian rock stars. We signed up with the top 10 rock bands in India, probably of some of the top celebrities in the movie industry, in the TV industry, comedians, singers, sports stars, sports teams, and that's how Stitch.live started. And one of those initiatives is the initiative cause or the social cause, where we have PETA, which is people for the, it prevents cruelty towards animals. PETA is one of them. Save Government School that you mentioned is one of them. Cricket for Blind in India is one of them. We have a few TikTok communities which come under those. The way we tie up with all of these celebrities is we sell the apparel at a price that they want, right? We have a small part of the money which goes behind the production, the actual production cost. The rest of the money either goes to the celebrity, or in these cases, it goes towards improvement or a cause. Say, for example, save government school. Government schools, private schools are doing better than government schools, right? So how can we improve infrastructure in government schools? So we are selling those T-shirts. There's a production amount which keeps in the back end, which is zero profit, zero loss. The rest of it goes towards improvement of facilities in government school. This is in partnership with a certain third party. So in this case, it was with a political party, right, and one of the leaders. And in case of PETA, it is with PETA India initiative. If you go to that link, you'll see Stitch.live. You have to go to Stitch.live first, and then you can see all the T's. So a part of it goes towards the cause or towards the celebrity. The rest of it comes to us for the production cost, and this is how Stitch.live is.
Very interesting, and I'm very impressed. I know I'm sure Laura has another question, but I have to ask this question because it sounds to me like you might be sitting on a platform that could be of interest to other fashion houses. Have you thought about the idea of potentially licensing this platform as a commercial software product?
Right. So thank you for that idea. Honestly, it's been a year and a half. We started off with 0 orders a day. Obviously, we are right now at around 550 orders a day. The scale up has been really fast. There has been some bulk orders as well on the way. So to be very honest, we have not thought about that. Right? It sounds like a very good value proposition, but because of the time frame, because we have been there in the market for like a year and a half now, we haven't given it a thought. But that does not prevent us from looking into this at a future point of time. But yeah, to answer your question, right now we haven't given it a thought because of the scarcity of time. But yeah.
Well, you never know. I mean, it sounds like it could be a pivot opportunity if you ever needed to. I mean, that sounds a pretty interesting platform to me.
And I'll get back to you saying that you planted the idea in my head when
when you talk to hundreds of CEOs and CTOs of technology companies in the past few years, you kind of see patterns and what's out there and what's not out there, and you can quickly realize when there's an opportunity for something new. So I think you might be sitting on an opportunity. Laura, do you have an additional question? We're slowly coming up on wrap up.
So I have a question. What's next for Styched? What are like next steps or?
Right. So I think next steps. The first step would be there are a couple of modifications that we are doing to reduce human error in the whole production system. So, for example, you order 5 tops, 2 of them being the same one and 3 of them being different, the production guys would sometimes confuse and pack just 1 instead of 2 because they are the same. Both of them are the same tops. So these kind of human error, and there are hundreds of them. So we have tried to plug different kind of interception messages at different point of time. So the backend work is still going on, and I'm sure it will keep going on. There are subsequent releases that's going to happen. We are soon going to launch probably around 10,000 different designs, which are in the pipeline. We have worked with multiple designers from multiple strengths who have come in and created a lot of designs for us, with the focus that every design should actually be a combination of patterns which we already have, and how do we then tweak those patterns and create fresh designs. So you're going to see a lot of new designs coming to our website. The third thing, which is probably going to happen during the month of September, October, we are going to go for one small round of funding, post which we are going to expand to UAE. We are going to set up our office in Dubai. The registration is already happening right now as we speak. And we are going to start our office there. The vendor management and everything is almost final there. We have spoken to a lot of vendors for the fabric and stuff like that. We don't need a warehouse, so the setup is actually quite fast, quite simple. So yeah, global expansion is one more thing. And the final thing which is there in my platter for this year is launch of a new brand called Enchic, which is into semi-premium. Styched is valued, the price of every apparel at Styched is between 199 INR, which translates to $2.5 USD, to 899 INR, which again translates to around $10, $15, $10, $12. Stitched Enchic would be a little higher priced. It will start from $15, go up to $50 or so. So that's the next thing which we have in our plate. But the backend exactly would be the same. The modus operandi will be the same. So, yeah.
Okay, so I have another question. I was, as I said before, I was going through your website and I was looking through some blogs you have, and I saw this one that really interested me, and it's the eternal trendiness of graphic T-shirts, and why are they such a timeless fashion trend? Can you speak about this a little bit more?
Because see, the tees are something, unisex tees are something that everyone wants, right? Whether it's men or women, everyone wants to have a tee. A T-shirt is not just a fashion apparel anymore. It's kind of it's something that you want to say. It's a statement that you want to make, fashion statement or attitude. You have quote-based tees or you have certain pattern-based tees. So, for example, right now, coronavirus, that lockdown is going on. So somebody writes straight out lockdown, right? Or Corona go away, things like that. Or something attitude that never, back out, or run till you die, or I am a biker. So you can project your personality, you can project your attitude with something written or designed on the tee. And from a business perspective, this becomes one of the easiest, segment or apparel section to foray into, because it's easy. You can buy a T-shirt for very cheap anywhere in the world. You can print. There are a lot of print technologies which are there. You can print something. You don't have to keep anything in your warehouse printed. So this is very fast to market, and I think there's a huge amount of competition as well. But over the last 2 to 3 years, what we have seen is that the demand for T-shirts has grown multifold. You can use this with a jacket, you can with a jeans, pair of denim, shorts, in your gym, athleisure. All of these things have happened. So I think T-shirt was one of the easiest segments that we could start off with, and we did that for a couple of months, got the demand, and then we introduced other categories.
Well, Soumajit, I'm impressed with the intersection you've created of art and technology here. I mean, essentially, that's what you're doing. You've invested in technology to improve upon how fashion is manufactured just in time, and certainly helps with sustainability challenges. We're wrapping up. We're up on time. I have one final question for you. What's the journey been like for you as an entrepreneur building something like this? Anything you've learned about yourself in this past 2 years?
Oh, I think e-commerce as a vertical has interested me for the last 6 years now. I've been with e-commerce. I've been working on various e-commerce companies for the last 6 years now. And that technical part of it is something which I was well aware of. I mean, the marketing part of it, how the store needs to be set up, who needs to be targeted, delivery, logistics, things like that. What I've really learned in the last 1.5 years is the essence of team building, the essence of giving ownership to different people, getting the right team on board, getting the right core team of 20 members to start off with, giving them the right kind of responsibility, ownership, and then let ideas drive it ahead. One person's idea can never drive a journey, especially for a brand like this, where we are trying to create a global brand. You need multiple viewpoints, you need multiple ideas and thoughts. So I think the importance of team building, the importance of having multiple stakeholders with their own ownership on board is something which I've learned, which I've realized more than learned. I probably would have known that before. But I've realized that this is probably one of the most important part for any startup. So, and in fact, anybody who asks me that what would be a suggestion for any entrepreneur, I keep telling that have your core team of 20 members very well chosen, because they will drive the growth for your company. You alone cannot drive your company single-handedly.
Well, Soumajit, it's been a pleasure having you as our guest. Thank you for joining us. Thank you for joining us, Laura and Carlos. We've got 2 more shows this week. We've got one tomorrow at 1 p.m. Pacific, same channel, same place, and one on Thursday as well. We're up on time, but please come back at 1 p.m. tomorrow. We'll have another interesting conversation with an awesome guest. And thanks for joining us, and be safe, everyone.
Thank you.